Johanna?
I absolutely agree that we need to calm tensions. I mean, right now we're in a situation where we just sent more troops over to Saudi Arabia. I think when those of us who are parents have young kids, we know that we want our kids in the classroom and we don't want them at war. So there was a multilateral strategy in place. And I know that Trump, in his election, had promised different action. It wasn't perfect. But I guess the question is, will he alone now be able to negotiate something better? And so I think this is a real test of his strength in that area before this next election. And I think he has a lot to prove because our kids need to stay in the classroom.
Kennedy, I would ask you, it always struck me that one of the reasons why Iran wanted to stay in that deal so much is because they weren't giving up anything. I mean, there were no anytime, anywhere inspections, as President Obama had said.
No verifiability.
There was still ballistic missiles. They got a bunch of money.
So much secrecy. You don't really know the facilities where the uranium is being enriched. And I will say this about your former boss. He seems like a great guy. Of all the presidents that you would want to go hang out with and have a beer with, he seems like a great family man and a truly good person. What he did in North Korea and Iran made the world less safe. His foreign policy was an absolute disaster. And I have no doubt that he knew the Constitution inside and out, that he was an otherwise rational person. But the pacification, the appeasement, and the strategic patience in both Iran and North Korea have created such a mess that, thank God, we don't have someone as hawkish as, lovely, great personality, John Bolton, but his foreign policy philosophy is so incredibly dangerous, and I don't think this president gets enough credit for being measured and being as anti-interventionist as he is.
What has he actually gotten done, though, other than a photo op?
Well, he has not gotten us into a hot war with Iran and North Korea. And if Hillary Clinton, the legacy mantle holder of the Obama administration, had been elected, I'm very confident that those two scenarios would be realized.
I disagree because I think she was again pursuing the multilateral agreements. I mean, it's different than in business. In business, you can walk away and just be done with somebody, and you can threaten them and say goodbye. You can't do that when you're the leader of the free world. So I understand. I think that President Obama is also fun to drink beer with, but I think he was very methodical to try to get the allies in the region together.
Do we know enough about what he was saying? I mean, his letters back and forth with, I know it sounds like back in the day, but it wasn't all that long ago, with Ahmadinejad. Also of Iran. I mean, do we feel like we know enough of what was in the side deals that we know existed, but we don't know what was in those side passages to a deal that we extricated ourselves from? I'm just curious, do we really know enough to say all of that? I did want to make one point, because Melissa, you said nuclear weapons and annihilation of perceived ideological enemies, I think is what you were saying. And how do you get Iran to stop that? I would add to the list, I think identity through terror, which is why they took the cash that they got in the deal and spent a lot of it. We know through our intelligence on terrorism. I don't know how you turn the head of the person who really wants to do that.
But there was a deal in place, and there were.
But it didn't include the missiles or the terror or.
Even then, okay, so renegotiate, right? Have your allies alongside you. I mean, this is a question this week.
Well, who says they're not going to negotiate again?
Well, and
maybe
President Trump, how is he leading the world stage this week?
All right, we'll see.